Some of you are probably aware that recently I have fallen down a happy little rabbit hole. I have been obsessed with Bob Ross painting tutorials in the last couple of weeks. I, like a lot of people, really love Bob Ross, not just for his artwork, but also just his personality and the way he expresses himself. He has recently become kind of my favorite motivational speaker.
Now you have to sort of make big decisions. This is your world on this piece of canvas. And when you create your own world, you have to make those decisions. Where does these little footy hills live? They got bumps on them? They go up, down? Where are they? Where are they? Painting gives you tremendous amounts of power on this canvas, and you have to use it. Make decisions.
When I'm painting these paintings, my goal, the object of my game is never to paint a painting that looks like Bob Ross's painting, because A, that's kind of impossible, and he's really good, and B, that's not the point of art. The reason I follow these tutorials and the reason I want to make these paintings and keep doing this over and over is just to help me develop some skills to express myself with painting. That's my thing. I'm not trying to make it look like a Bob Ross painting. I don't even actually use the same materials he uses. I paint in acrylic because it's what I have and it's what I really know how to use. I have used oils in the past. I talked about this once before. Um, but in any case, so yeah, I mean, my goal is not to make it look like a Bob Ross, which is a good thing because boy, mine don't. Okay, so the very first painting I did was season 10, episode 1, Towering Peaks. So here's Bob Ross's. And here's mine. Now, what I really like about this landscape is that if you take your glasses off and you move far enough away from the screen, you can actually tell it's supposed to be a landscape. Honestly, I'm really pleased with this painting because I think you can kind of tell what it's supposed to be. I generally do like very expressive, abstract kind of painting. I am not really in the habit of painting objects that other people need to recognize as real world objects. It's not typically what I do with paint, or at least it hasn't been in the last couple of, in the recent times it hasn't been. So I'm just pleased that I think you can kind of tell that this is a landscape. It sort of even kind of has a reflection. The worst part of it by far is the clouds. The clouds just look like I dropped some toothpaste on my canvas. They are the worst, and unfortunately, really the most prominent part of the painting, I think, is those kind of train wreck clouds. Um, I had a really hard time with this one because I was trying to figure out how to keep the paint wet enough to blend it out. I was convinced I needed to do a lot of blending, and I think I used like a medium and like a white to try to simulate what Bob Ross does, because when Bob Ross paints a painting, he covers the canvas with like a liquid white paint that stays wet while he's painting so he can blend things out. I kind of have tried to simulate that, and I think I used too much medium and my paint was too wet, and that really contributed to the chunky kindergarten ness of this painting. I absolutely could not blend anything out in the clouds or the sky to save my life. And eventually I just gave up and moved on, because that is what you do when you're creating. You do the best you can and then you move on. And now we're going to get an unnecessary opinion from an art critic here. Oscar thinks all my paintings suck because I should only be paying attention to him and never anything else. Isn't that right, sweetie? Painting number 2 is from season 19, episode 12. This is Evening Peace. Here it is. This one, you start with a black canvas and put white on top of it. I'm like so edgy and punk rock and goth. I thought I was going to be great at this. It was awful. He did like three different things to prep his canvas. I think he covered it with a black paint first and let it dry. And then he put like some liquid thing on top of that. And then he put a mixture of black and blue. I don't know. I tried real hard. I could not work with a wet black canvas because anytime I tried to put the white on it, everything just turned gray. So what I ended up doing was basically just painting it black, letting it dry, throwing some white on there, and hoping for the best. Now, I will say about this painting, I love the foreground. I absolutely love this part of the painting in the very front here. I think these bushes look beautiful and the fence and everything. I think it translates really well. You can really kind of see what it is. The bushes in the back look like my cat threw up on the canvas. And the sky is, well, yeah, the weirdest thing about this one was actually that when I painted it laying flat, and I felt like I was painting this kind of flat rolling landscape. And then, of course, when I look at it like upright and straight on, the perspective, everything is on a super high ale, and the perspective is all wonky. So, yeah, um, overall, I'm not going to say this is good, but I had fun. That one was a little frustrating. Moving on to season 4, episode 10, Quiet Woods. Here's Bob Ross. Why does mine look like a horror movie? Like, Bob Ross painted this beautiful, quiet scene in the woods that was just so peaceful. Why does mine look like a freaking horror movie? I don't know why. It looks so scary. Where is the light coming from? We don't know. I wish this looked a little more like a nice, neat stream. I wish the water didn't kind of widen out so much down there. But other than that, this one is super messy. Overall, I would say this is the worst one I've done. I actually painted this one with my son Gerald. We were painting together. He's 8 years old. We were kind of doing a thing where I thought it would be fun if we tried to do a tutorial together and we both painted it. And I also had an idea that I have an idea that, like, if we did that a couple times and he really likes doing it, maybe we could make a video, like a mother son Bob Ross tutorial video together. Like, wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't you watch that? So this was really just something I was doing with my son to have fun. I did not put a lot of effort into this, and I think it shows. Also, canvas too wet, also too messy. Could not figure out how to make those trees look like trees in the background there. Again, my very favorite part of this is the foreground right up here. I love this tree. I'm not saying it looks good or realistic in any way, but the front part up here feels good to me. I like this part of the painting. I enjoyed this more. Again, it has a creepy Silent Hill horror movie kind of vibe for me. I feel like I'm playing a horror game when I look at this. I don't know why. It's a little drab. It's a little sad. Um, Makes me feel like I'm depressed in Seattle in my early 20s. I don't know. I don't love it or hate it. I think the clouds came out much better in this one than say the first one. I think the clouds look a little more cloud-like here. That's number 3. Next one is this little gem right here. This is Winter Evergreens, season 9, episode 1. This one, this might be my favorite. I love the overall look and feel of this. I feel like the weird excessive contrast up here is giving it kind of like a tiki lounge vibes. It looks like that kind of painting. I'm enjoying it. This one, I did a different technique. I did not try to have a wet canvas at all. I didn't use any medium. I just threw acrylic paint on a dry canvas. And yeah, I mean, you can really see in the sky, obviously, like nothing blended out. Acrylic. The reason why oil people use oil is that it dries very slowly, so you can really do a lot of blending and getting in there and changing it. Acrylic dries the way I used it, it dries way too fast for it to really look nice and blended out and natural and real. It just, and I'm just a heavy-handed painter. I just threw it together. The sky technically is a disaster, but I like it. I think this tree right here is really, this is a happy little tree right here. I really like this one. I think overall this is fun. I don't like the clouds so much. I don't think they really look like clouds. And to be honest, and you will never, and I don't mean any disrespect to the good work of Bob Ross. You know, I would never speak badly of his work, but to be honest, in this particular one, I don't like the clouds so much in his either. I just don't think something about them, they don't feel like real clouds to me. I don't know why. Um anyway, I enjoyed this thoroughly. I made, again, I had a weird perspective problem where I made like way too much of a hill up here, and now there's like a pond in the middle of a hill for some reason. This was supposed to be a lot flatter in the foreground. Oh, the most exciting thing about this painting, this is Harold. This was sort of a meme kind of a while ago of Bob Ross. This is the tutorial. If you're a big Bob Ross fan, you might know about this. He painted this tutorial once where, you know, he was painting some happy little rocks and being Bob Ross. And he gave this rock, he painted this rock, and he said this rock needed a friend and that the friend's name was Harold. And it's like the cutest thing you've ever seen on television. Um, so I painted Harold, and I'm really proud of it because I think if you look at Harold not too closely, you can tell that it's supposed to be a rock. Number 5 is called Mountain Sunset, and this is season 12, episode 10, I think. Um, Here it is. I don't have a whole lot to say about this one. Um, I enjoyed it. I love the colors. I don't think any particular part of it looks very good. I do enjoy it. My daughter really likes this tree. She thinks this tree is pretty cool. I really screwed up. I actually made a video of this one. I really kind of screwed up the background by simply not painting enough of it. I don't know what I was thinking, but I just threw some paint on the canvas and then I had to go back in after the fact and try to paint the rest of the sunset around and the sides after I put other stuff in, and it just kind of didn't work. I don't know why these trees are completely dead. Again, we've got sort of post-apocalyptic sort of zombie horror video game vibes happening right up here. I don't know why. I don't know why it is that, you know, I go to paint beautiful, soft, gentle, natural artwork, and my paintings turn out really dark and heavy and creepy looking. I don't know why that is. Maybe somebody else can explain it to me. So that's the update on my Bob Ross situation. The progress is basically that there isn't any. I don't think the fifth painting looks remarkably better than the first one did. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just going to keep on painting and we'll see what happens. I have considered getting like a cheap set of oil paints to see if that really makes a difference, if that makes it easier, or if they start looking better or more realistic somehow. But honestly, I don't think the materials are really the problem here. I am, believe it or not, a pretty experienced painter with acrylics. I usually know how to get them to do what I want them to do. I think if it were really my goal to make it look realistic or look like Bob Ross, I would probably be doing that. In general, I am not, you know, I think even if we could match on skill and just overall talent and experience, I think Bob Ross and I are just fundamentally different artists. I think he is just very light and gentle and natural. And I am a heavy handed psychopath when it comes to art and life. And that's just how it is. And, you know, sometimes we just have to learn to love and accept ourselves just the way we are. Subscribe.